Hey there, Jesse James Hennessy here, director, writer, editor of Night of the Witch. With me are some of the cast and crew from Night of the Witch. We have Jamie Junction, Rebecca Cook, Chris Hansen, and Kelsey Weddle. But before we start, for people watching that may not know, Night of the Witch is a short horror comedy we made, which started back in 2016 as a proof of concept trailer, along with a crowdfunding campaign to make a feature film. We didn't make the financial goal to make the feature yet, but what we did do is make a really cool short film. And right now it's in its festival circuit run, and depending on when you see this, it may or may not be out for you to watch. So let's chat about it. So I have individual questions for all of you, but we'll start with the group one. Tell me about just a fun memory on set of Night of the Witch, if you have any.
I'll go, I guess.
Yeah, go ahead, Chris.
My favorite moment was when we were setting up the party, and I was half wearing the witch cloak, and we were about to do the gag where Paul's the witch. Yeah. Anyway, don't want to spoil it. Anyway,
it's okay. Talk about whatever.
Who knows?
Yeah.
And we were just playing some awesome rock, just going, and I'm just like goofing off in like shorts and a white tank top and this massive cloak, and just messing around like to the side, not even in the shot. And
that's awesome.
It was the most fun.
Yeah. I'm glad you had fun on set. So that's cool. We had some good music playing too, I remember. Yes. We had a lot of 80s cassette tapes going. Cool.
Yeah, I remember that the night I was on set, at the end of the day, the last thing we had to get was the footage of the witch, and we wanted this tracking shot, but we didn't have a dolly. We had a skateboard. Yeah. And it proved to be, I would say, challenging.
It was.
And educational are our safe words to use about that. My favorite thing was watching, like, how everyone who was working, holding camera and working on camera, like Jade and Trevin, the intimate ways they were having to secure each other.
Yes.
Was so adorable.
It was very loving.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that. And I remember before we did that, we tried roller skates on Shannon. She had brought a pair of roller skates, old crusty ones, and that did not work out too well.
No.
On the skateboard. But that was like from, we reshot that ending, so that would be a fun ending to release, but some good footage did come out of that. So it did work.
Good to know.
Yeah. Maybe I plan on releasing like deleted scenes and alternate endings, so I'll definitely put that out, and then everyone can see the witch flying through the air, which is on a skateboard with a whole bunch of people just. Yeah.
I feel like there's an entire feature film just in the making of the short.
Probably, yes. We just have to do like one more weekend of shooting things for like, and then we'd have a full-length film probably. Just to connect the dots to make it kind of cohesive. But yeah, that was really fun. Anyone else?
I had a couple of favorite scenes. One was so when you're crew, obviously you do other jobs when you need something. One of my favorite things that we did was when myself, Keith Hopkins, who's your, is he your assistant director or your producer? He's the producer, right?
Keith was, I think on the first weekend, the weekend you were there, he was PA, and then the next year he was my assistant director. Yeah.
Okay. So the scene where we have to rock the van, and there's like 8. So you have the camera people, we have sound set up beforehand, we have a fog machine going, we have effects getting ready to throw blood, and then and we only have like one shot. And then there's like 8 of us. I think we did 2 shots, and then there's a bunch of us, and we're all like moving the van for effects. And I think it's like hilarious, but that's like, to me, the crux of doing an independent film is you just do whatever, everybody works together, and it's a pretty fun moment. But it's just everything all at once: the blood, the sound, the camera, the fog, the girl screaming on the inside, you getting the shot, you're sitting there, is it going to happen? Is it going to happen? And yeah, it's pretty funny. That would be a really funny outtake, I think, to see.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny. One of my favorite.
No, that was really fun. Yeah, rocking that van. That was a good time. Yeah, it shows. Yeah, that was ended like you were saying. It was a really good cast and crew on set. So everyone worked together pretty well. Really well, actually. Yeah. How about you, Kelsey? You got any fun memories?
Actually, I do. I have a lot of great memories being on set, but definitely my favorite moment was when they were getting me all ready to go on set during that rocking bus, the rocking van scene, and they didn't. The costume person was having a hard time trying to find the right accessory for my character.
Yeah.
And then Michaela Daniels, who was one of the crew members on set, she let me borrow her rose-colored glasses. So I got to wear the rose-colored glasses on set, and I felt so bad because they were all covered in blood as soon as we were done shooting the scene.
I'm sure she didn't mind.
Yeah, she was totally cool with it.
That's cool. Yeah, I didn't know that. They went perfectly with your character. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, that's fun. Yeah, we'll get into individual questions now, Rebecca. We'll start with you. So you were the assistant director for a day, and it was a pretty long day. I think that went like 12 hours. And it worked out to that weekend, there was a different assistant director every day, which was a pretty unique, I think. Like that doesn't happen too much. What were the positives and negatives about coming in for one day of assistant directing?
So yeah, it's kind of funny because I've never done that where I was just an assistant director for one day, but I knew the other two women, Kendra and Cheryl and Michaela Daniels, really well. So we all have a similar style, which I think helped. But for me, I got the day with all of the heavy special effects. So I think 12 hours is a generous how long that day went.
12 and a half.
But it was a day that just needed a lot of time and attention. And I was excited to have that day as much as I was kind of horrified by it. Like it was a big challenge, but it was so much cool stuff we got to shoot. And so the positive of it for something like that is I came in totally fresh and I knew I didn't have to get up early and do it again the next day. So I was able to keep my spirits and my energy up. So that was really a nice part of being the one day AD. What I hated was there was one scene we had to push to the next day because it didn't have nearly as much work in it, but we just were running out of time.
Yeah.
So I felt really bad, but I'm texting Kendra like, hey, just so you know, this is coming for you tomorrow. No, I actually thought it went really well. I mean, the crew and the cast really knew what they were doing. And Jesse, you have such a strong vision and such an easy way about you that it was very easy to come into set for one day and feel like I'd been there the whole time and miss it when I was gone.
That's awesome. It was really cool having you on set. I remember you're just amazing. But one of the things that I didn't even think about that really helped, the place we were filming was huge, right? And your voice carries. It was really easy for you to like communicate with people on the other side.
My theater training.
That was cool. But yeah, what was your favorite part of ADing on the film?
Well, I mean, getting to see and be a part of the problem solving of all the rigs and gags. I love that kind of stuff. I love the horror genre just for all the creativity you get to have in how, how you make the blood spew and how you make the door open and how you make the witch fly. So it was really fun to see how that was done and kind of help be a part of that. But at the end of the day, like the best thing about, the low budget filmmaking is you're on set with so many people who are just passionate and there because they love it. Nobody's there because it's just another paycheck. it's all these people who are having such a wonderful time and
Mhm.
treating each other with like respect and joy and passion. So that's my favorite part of it, really.
Yeah. I was lucky to have everyone that was there. It was really cool. Yeah. Yeah, and like I said, it was low budget. No one's making any money. People are there because, be part of something cool, that's cool.
I really enjoy being on those sets.
Well, hopefully someday soon we can get back to all that kind of stuff. So like as a director yourself, what genre of film do you love to direct the most? 'Cause you've directed you've dabbled in different genres, haven't you?
I have. I've kind of been all over the place. I mean, in my heart, I love horror. I'll admit that. And I have a lot of fun. I think I've grown a lot as a horror director. I don't think that comes naturally to me. But being on set with people like you has helped me learn. I think I'm more adept in the sort of drama world. And comedy's hard. I love it, but it's hard. But horror is really, because sometimes you get to mix all of that together, and I love freaking people out.
Horror is the way to go. Yeah, it is really hard to get like a balance all in one film of like horror, comedy, and drama. I don't think I can even do that. I can get the horror comedy dialed in sometimes. But what was your favorite kill scene from the movie, from Night of the Witch?
Oh my God, it had to be the beer can.
The beer can.
When I read it, when we did it, it sucked. It was so much blood to clean up. Oh my God. I mean, Matt and Kevin, who got stuck cleaning all of that, bless their hearts.
Those guys are the unsung heroes of the whole project. They always got mops, or they were carrying cords, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I totally agree. But I thought it turned out really fun, and it's such a great part of the script. I mean, I just love it.
Yeah, that beer can, that's one of my favorites too. And I love that we used real beer too. So there was, on top of the blood going everywhere, everyone was getting soaked and gross.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
But yeah, cool. How about Kelsey? We'll go over to you. So you were part of the 70s flashback van gang.
Yep.
That had a run-in with the evil witch. Tell me about your experience on set.
Oh my gosh, it was very, very exciting. And I remember it was kind of like a late afternoon. I was there late afternoon, and I just got done from doing a gig in Hayden, Idaho. And so I had to go all the way from there to the set. And it was really amazing. I got to be transformed into this 1970s peace, free love kind of person. And surprisingly, this I'm wearing the exact jumpsuit that I wore in the film.
Cool.
Before this interview.
Oh my God, you got all the blood out. That's amazing.
Yes. It had to take several washes for me to get the blood out, but it was amazing. It's like they didn't have to do a whole lot with my makeup because I still had my work makeup on, and then they did my hair, and then the rose-colored glasses, and it got to go into this decked out 1970s van. It had lights on it. It had like the fur carpet. It was so cool just being around all these amazing people and feeling like I've been transported back in time as this totally different character, and then getting all covered with blood in the end. Oh my gosh. Oh, awesome.
That's great. Yeah, that leads me into the next question. What was it like getting covered in all that blood and screaming for hours? Well, I don't know if it was hours, but you guys, and you had to scream a lot in that.
Well, yeah, we did about an hour's worth of screaming.
Yeah.
But yeah, being covered in all that blood was absolutely incredible. Amy Calkins and the special effects team did a really good job making the blood so realistic looking.
Oh, yeah.
And then when they were putting it all over me, man, it felt so good on my skin. I was like, yeah, I'm going to get killed tonight. This is so fun. absolutely loved it. The screaming, though, I was a little bit worried about because I had another gig to do the next day. But then I remembered my vocal techniques that I learned from voice lessons about how to scream properly. So, and that really helped.
Yeah, I mean, that was like going to be my next question too. Like, because you're a singer,
Yeah.
how does all that help with having to scream, or does it mess up your voice, or are you trained more to do that?
Yes, I am actually trained to scream in a way that doesn't hurt me physically. Because when a lot of people scream, they like to scream from up here in the throat, and that causes a lot of tension, especially in the vocal folds and in the neck. So what I've been doing is I've been trained to scream from down here, and then to keep the placement up and out, through the sound, so that it won't hurt me physically.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Well, yeah, if I'd known you'd be so excited to get covered in blood, I'm going to have to put you in more stuff now because.
Yeah.
But that's cool. Yeah, I didn't know that about screaming. That's interesting. Yeah. So fun question. If you got transplanted back to 1978, what would you be doing?
Oh man, I'll be traveling in a decked out van with a bunch of other musicians, and we'd be traveling all across the country performing music for people. Man, that would be so awesome.
Yeah, that's fun. So it's kind of close to like what you were doing actually with your character, because you're traveling around in a van. I don't know if you guys are going to a concert, but you were partying.
Yeah, I think there was something that was mentioning in the script saying that we were on our way to a concert. But I definitely had that mindset when we were shooting the scene.
Mm-hmm. I think that's what it was. God, I wrote it. I should know, but I can't remember. That's awesome. Jamie, let's go over to you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So you're in the visual arts world and involved with other film projects. What struck you with Night of the Witch that made you want to hop on board for a day of filming?
Well, I think horror film is sort of, well, I know your style. For one, you're very into dark comedy. And so you color your characters, you color their environments, and you color them in such a way that it makes it interesting to shoot and to film and to do sound, and then it's interesting to watch. So, and I love comedy. I love the timing of comedy, and it's a definite challenge, but I really love doing comedy for sure. So I think it's the comedy horror is my dark comedy horror is probably my favorite genre. And you also have a style I don't think you're aware of that's sort of British. You're not afraid to like make jokes that are just sort of scathingly inappropriate but really hilarious. And awesome. but you have a British, like the In-Betweeners or Deary Girls, you have that real they can, the Monty Python, you have a way of getting away with things and it works. So to be a part of something like that is great. I think your writing is great.
Cool. Well, thanks. I'm glad you like being on set and like
yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. British, huh? Shit. I gotta roll with that.
Watch more. The In-Betweeners. Boy, they just go through one inappropriate joke after another. It's so shocking, and then they're telling another one. But I don't laugh like out loud. I'm pretty I can be pretty, stoic-y, but that one, British humor makes me laugh pretty hard. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So and you did sound for the day of filming. I think that was your primary job, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we shot that 70s flashback scene, and you were the crew where we had the truck out there, and we're shooting during magic hour, and we only had like 15, maybe 20 minutes to get that shot. Just tell me about like getting those shots in such a small window of time, just the process of that.
Well, my primary objective is to be didactic, meaning my job is to insert myself like a fly in the world of what's happening that you've created, and everything else has to just kind of go away. That way the actor, if I'm in close quarters, the actor can concentrate, because you have so much going on outside the actor is preparing, and I want to honor that. And a lot of times the actor will maybe, while things are going on, will practice, and I can hear, and he'll, like Jason was really in a mindset. If you watch, he's got his hands and he's getting ready to like run somebody down. So even though it's supposed to be kind of funny, he was getting very serious. And you can capture that sound. That there's a horror in that quiet, that silence of being like an animal before you pounce, and he was in that mode. So I was recording that air, even, while we were waiting, I would turn it on just to have that prep time. I don't know, if a lot of times I don't get to talk to the directors in the editing room to say, hey, did you, I got this great shot, or I heard this, or, to me, this is a really great, this sounded really good. But that to me is the prime thing. And then I always think about what can the director build on that? Like, is it going to be ADR, Foley, music? I don't know a lot of times. So really my main, I'm getting into the fishbowl, and I want to capture the sound. And also I'm honoring the actor, and then there's a relationship between the actor and the director. I'm sort of like that sound, the relationship. So it's really important that I stay invisible, but I also, but also that I'm there to capture and document.
Yeah.
And being a photographer, I think that helps me look and listen, and see what's going on. I can kind of sense something sometimes. But when you're not using your own equipment and you're in a cramped space and you have a limited time and you're rush, you do the best that you can. But I did get a really great still of Jason in the truck, just sitting there waiting, like his mind, that tiger attack, that tiger, and that's what I try to, if there's a sound for that, you can hear it, and that's a challenge, and I love doing that. And a lot of filmmakers don't spend enough time on that part of their film, and it can really make or break, the timing of something. So I try to do the best that I can, even on an independent. So, sometimes things fall apart. Sometimes sound stops, the batteries wear out or whatever. I can't remember if there was something that happened on set. I think there was an airplane that went by or something, and
they always do.
Yeah, or something. But the sound of what's going on that land. So if there's a tractor or something, that's important to the scene, because that is the frame of that scene, and then the director and the editor build on that to create tension. So my job is just to make sure there's a good foundation, and that I've got the actor's performance.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, you got that for sure. Like the sound for that scene was perfect. I didn't really have to adjust it too much or anything like that. So we just did a bit of ADR just with some sound effects, but that turned out really good. Kind of going off that one too, were there any challenges in recording sound in general for that day? Just not that scene, but other stuff?
I think who's the sound person that assisted in camera work, that he was assisting on the footage. We were using his mics.
Was it Michael Cudham?
I can't remember. He's got the short haircut. He's really good. He's really good. It wasn't Trevon Spencer. It was the other guy that was assisting Trevon. He had a plaid shirt. Huh? What's his name?
It might have been Notar, I'm pretty sure.
No, it wasn't Michael. No? It wasn't Michael. It was the other. Anyways, so I've worked with him on a couple other, and I feel really bad that I can't remember his name. Was it
Josh?
It was Josh.
Josh, okay. Josh. Yeah.
Josh.
Yeah.
Josh. I've done some other films with Josh. And he is sort of like, almost like a virtuoso when it comes to the mic, where to place it, where to go, how to get it, how to, what angles. Yeah. And to slow him down a little bit and say, well, I hear this, or to advocate and say, well, wait a minute, I'm the actor's doing this. I want to capture that. There's something going on here, not just clicking on and clicking off, because for the director, that's really important to have that extra sound footage, because all the goofing around that was going on in the van, you can use that. That isn't something that you can just make up later. You might need that. You might need it for another scene. You might use it. Something doesn't work. So I think the challenge is just having enough and making sure, and if I'm not needed, just step back, But the van scene, I think I was in the front seat underneath a blanket.
Yeah.
In between, and then you're moving the mic between the two people who are talking in the front seat, which was really fun, and got to be really good. And I got some good stills of that too, from the outside. But it's fun to, I'm usually really sore the day after, and you have to be fit to be a boom operator for sure. So dancing or tango, you have to know how to walk backwards or be thinking backwards.
Yeah.
But capturing that bubble. The sound bubbles. But what I remembered about the van was the natural banter that was going on. That natural banter, to me, it's good to get a few seconds of that or a minute of that on the side, just in case you need it.
Yeah. I know all the sound you did for that day turned out really good. And
yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you're right about like the van. Like I remember, if you were a crew member, they were hiding in places, holding lights. So you were like under here with the mic.
Yep.
Pretty fun.
Yeah.
Have you ever partied in a rad van?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. I actually went on tour. So Kelsey, you'll like this. In the 90s, I think it was 93, I went on tour with a band called Velvet Pelvis. It was an all-girl band.
Oh, wow.
But there were no seats in the back and no blankets, no pillows. So the drummer and I sat in the back, and I was like the roadie. And we had tires to sit on, a drum kit, and the guitars. And I remember that Heather would drive with her foot up, and no seatbelts. This is before seatbelts were like, people would get tickets for it. So we were like rolling around in the back of the car at 100 miles an hour. And I actually took some really great photos of that trip. And they're actually at the MAC now in the punk rock art retrospective as stills just from us wearing our underwear and boxer shorts and swimming at the gorge and goofing around. They're in the MAC now.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so really fun. And I just remembered really uncomfortable, and I think I had to sleep for 2 days when I got back because it was so hot. Those vans don't have any air conditioning. So hot, but so fun. And
That's
it was painted orange. It had one of those like weird little windows in the back.
Yeah.
We could have probably thrown a mattress in the back if we had, a little bit of brains, but yeah. No way.
Did you ever run into any evil witches in your van?
I think the only evil witches was the Grindhouse babes that were in the van in the first place.
Awesome.
So that would have been us. Yep.
Music video ideas going in my head now.
Yep.
Awesome. Well,
it was just like the van. In fact, it looked just like the van that you used in your 16 millimeter video. In fact, I wondered if it was the same van.
It could.
It looks just like that van, and looks like they fixed it up though. Huh. We didn't have any stereo. I just remember sitting on dirty tires with like combat boots, fishnet stockings, and a slip, and then short hair.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, Chris, we'll hop down to you. Yeah?
All right, cool.
So you play Paul, the beer-swigging, sexually charged jock, and you also came in on reshoots to hop behind the mask and do some stunts as the witch. Tell me about taking on both those roles, the similarities and the differences.
Well, absolutely. First and foremost was the playfulness between the two of them. Both seem to like to have a good time. And it seems fairly similar, the jokes, I like to tease my target, a little bit before I bite into them. So, there was also a confidence. Now, that confidence in what it manifested as was different, but both of them I felt shared a confidence in what they were doing. So, calculating their attack or their approach. I mean, obviously, the grade level between Paul's intelligence versus the witch, that's debatable. So those similarities were fun. The sense of play. Major differences, of course, being Paul wasn't as cold, he wanted to get a razz out of you, but I feel like internally he's afraid of being soft. But he does just want to have a good time with everybody.
He does.
You know? But like, he's still skin deep, you know?
Well, I guess you had the witch too. She just wanted to have a good time with everyone as well, just on another level.
Just on a deeper, heart-ending level.
I think if it was like different circumstances, Paul and the witch could be buddies.
Yeah, you know, they both want to be inside in a way.
That's awesome. You'll have to watch the movie to get. You can probably gather what he's talking about. Awesome. Let's move on to the next one. So I remember when filming scenes the first weekend, you had a pretty tight schedule. You had some other gigs going on then too, right? You were doing.
I did. I had actually two or three at that time. It's hard to kind of keep track.
Yeah, I was just gonna. Was it hard juggling that, or do you like thrive in having so many projects going on at the same time? Because I know a lot of times I'm at my best when I have so much going on.
Yeah. You know, I did. It was stressful at times, but it was you know, I was fortunate.
Yeah.
I was fortunate enough to have enough gigs to keep me going in our wonderful city and in our area, and I thrive on it as much as appreciate it, and also realize I should probably take on less to sleep at night. You know?
Right? Well, now there's not much going on now, is there? Gigs stuff.
Yeah, I've actually had a couple that go like, "Hey, we're planning this," and then, "Hey, by the way, that's not happening anymore." Or, "Hey, we're pushing for September," and they're like, "You know what? We're just gonna call it." And it's cool to be wanted still, or to know that people are trying. You know, you can't keep art down. You know what I mean? It just shifts and it moves. And you pick up little bits here and there, and then you either keep it or you don't when you need it, right? So whether we're in this for long or whether we're not, I feel like new things will come because it's inevitable.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So we don't see Paul die in the film, right?
Correct.
It's off screen. We do see him looking pretty dead at the end, though. Do you think there's a chance he survived that? Is he just playing dead, or under some kind of spell, or is he dead?
It's funny you say spell, because funny thing about witchcraft is, you know, if you get into it, who knows what they saw, right? Or what is being perceived in front of you.
Right.
So it could be Paul was like, "All right, I'm out. Like, nope, I ain't messing with this. I'm not that, you know, confident. Like, let's get out of here." Could be that, or we could have actually seen it. I like to think that witchcraft is playful enough that that is yet to be determined.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Like, I would definitely do a sequel to this. I would do a prequel. I would do a full-length feature still. You know, people seem to enjoy it, and who knows what happens.
Yeah.
There is a feature script out there still, so just saying that.
Hey, I'm down. Let it be known. Down.
That's awesome. But well, I guess let's just wrap it up with another group question. What's everyone's favorite 80s horror movie?
I love this. Oh, it's so hard to pick.
The Lost Boys, hands
Lost
down.
Boys.
I watched it every Christmas Eve.
Great
my
one.
On.
It's strange because my boyfriend is more of an 80s horror film fan than I am. He has seen almost every single 80s horror film you can possibly imagine. I won't watch it with him because it's too scary for me. But I have seen like a couple of light-hearted 80s horror films. But if I were to pick my favorites, it would probably be a tie between Hobgoblins and Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Those are both interesting and fun choices.
Yeah.
Outer Space is amazing. I love that movie.
Yeah.
Hobgoblins is that's a pretty bad one, but it's so bad it's good.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. It's so funny, especially the puppetry about it is hilarious. And it's like, oh, apparently they can drive. Okay.
Awesome.
I'm more. I was caught between. I enjoy Evil Dead, but I also enjoy like Nightmare on Elm Street. You know,
Yeah.
I for some reason latch on to Freddy.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just he's a villain that's like you look back into the past and it doesn't take long for you to go, yeah, I don't feel nothing for you. Like you're bad. You're a bad guy. Like
Yeah.
you know, and kind of a super villain in a world without superheroes. And
Yeah.
for being such a comic guy, it's weird to see a world without superheroes.
Mm. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, and he was really good at. I think of all the villains, he was the best with the one-liners.
Yeah.
Yeah. He welcome to prime time, bitch. But yeah, that's well because they tried to they had Dream Warriors. They tried to get together as almost like an Avengers type of thing. Like they became more powerful in their dreams, and they tried to fight them, but it just didn't work.
Right. It was different. Right. It was a shift, and I was like, ah.
Yeah. Cool. Nightmare's good. Evil Dead's good.
It was the bed. It was just the bed suck in and then the fountain, you know. I was like, that's so much. Can you imagine that day on set?
That would be cool.
Yeah.
I would love that day on set.
Oh.
Blood everywhere.
Yeah.
There can never be enough blood, really.
Mhm.
Every time I have blood on set, I'm like, more blood.
I dare you to make me reel it back.
So, Jamie, what's your favorite 80s horror film?
I like Christine.
Christine? Yeah.
Yeah, Christine, because one, I like how John Carpenter used the elements of fire, rain, earth, and wind, and like daylight, sunshine to create horror and music.
Mm.
And then I also like the gritty metal, and then the red, and then the gray, the colors that he used. And then I also like kind of create like the dream world of the fantasy of what he's got going on inside of his own head, which is what we all do as teenagers. You know, as we kind of live inside of our heads, we fall in love with somebody, we obsess, you know, that red. But I just love cars, and I like the whole, you know, the bad. I mean, I was a junior in high school when that came out, you know, and the dumb guys that are in wood shop, you know, we had wood shop still back then. That really happened, you know. So I really love that movie, and I think it's beautifully shot, and I love the handmade music, and I love the editing, but I really love the use of the elements. I mean, I think that's a missed cue in that film, you know, is fire and water. I mean, it's just interesting to see how he uses that to frame what's going on. You know,
I'm gonna have to rewatch that one again because I haven't seen it in a while. I'll throw that on my list. Yeah,
he really uses light too, you know, to create tension and horror in the music, and I really love that. And it's a challenge. I mean, and the actors in that are so fantastic. You know, there's a few movies as a sound person that I like to watch, like Jaws. I'll watch all the time. Mm-hmm. Psycho. But Christine is another one, you know, where you can hear the actors kind of breathing. You can kind of hear what's going on, and that connects you to the audience in some way, in a way that I think that's why people like, you know, those horror movies. You know, if it was the 90s, it would be Dead Alive. But you know, that's the 90s. You know, Dead Alive. I was like, it would be Dead Alive, but That's 1992.
Dead Alive is cool. There's so much blood in that too.
Yeah.
If it were
Yeah.
the 70s, I would have gone with John Carpenter's The Thing. I mean, because that
Thing.
is mind blowing. The
Yeah.
special effects.
That's great. Yeah, I love that one. Yeah, that was an amazing one. Well, heck, thanks everyone for being here and doing this, chatting about Night of the Witch and some fun stuff. And for people watching, just keep an eye out for everything Night of the Witch. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff. We'll have links below. And check out the short film if it's out. So, yeah, bye everyone. Wave goodbye. Woo! Yeah.